Hello y'all on YouTube, this is Rob from Rob's Nerdy Knives. Today I have a very special review for you. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Vosteed Bellamy. Really neat little knife that I was able to get a hold of. I really like this. It's a great budget knife. I'm definitely going to make this, I'll give you a hint, definitely going to make this a recommended budget knife. You get a great bang for your buck on this one. That I will just say that much. So let's jump right into this. This is one of Vosteed's design. It is a liner lock, which typically they start off with their button locks. I got a Thunderbird and I got a Valkyrie. They were all button locks. I think the Raccoon was a button lock. I can't remember. Maybe it was button lock and now it's not, or it wasn't a button lock, but now it is. I can't remember. But anyways, this is a liner lock and it's got multiple deployments. It's a flipper, a front flipper, right? And then it's even got a fuller so you can reverse flick it. So that's really nice. It is, and let's look at the steel. What we're looking at here is 154 cm. So can you see that? So it's a good solid steel. Beautiful polished sand, or we call sand finish on this one. Polished finish, sorry. A beautiful polished finish on this one. It's really nice. And this is a hollow grind. It's absolutely a hollow grind. I was shocked when I saw that, but just fantastic, like a little benefit. I thought it was just a flat grind, but it comes out to a beautiful thin edge. It's got a really wonderful long edge here. We'll measure this here in a second. But if you look at the handle to knife ratio, I mean, it utilizes the entire handle, goes all the way down, right? And just really fantastic. Great action, very smooth for such a budget knife. Now this is my black micarta. That's what I chose, and this is milled. It's kind of like a grenade pattern, if you will, sort of like a tank or whatever called grenade pattern. It's the dimpling here. I like that. It gives you a lot of traction. So even with micarta, when it gets wet, sometimes it gets slippery. You're not going to drop this. You're going to have good traction on this, no matter what. And it has some jimping up here, so that jimping is really nice and solid. So, but you can choke up even with the jimping right here. Now, you know, I'd be careful choking up because you don't want to get too close to that sharpening choil, but you can definitely choke it up if you had to, like, do a precision cut, right? And you could do it pretty comfortably and not worry you're going to slip. So that's nice. Here's a flipper. It's a full flipper. It's definitely you can do the push button, but you can also do the light switch. I think both work really well because the blade's really not that heavy or big. So it deploys pretty solidly. I've not had to tune anything on this thing. It's been just fantastic. And then this front flipper right here has got jimping all the way around. Can you see that? All the way around. So it just works really nice. Just as long as you get your hand on there, just put some pressure. Don't slide your hand over, but just put some pressure on there and it opens right up. So you can do it in the front. You can do probably yes. See, I've got little hands, so it's kind of hard for me to get up on top there, but I know you can get up there and do that as well. So there's that. The lockup on this one, I think we already talked about, it's about 50%. It's good. There's no blade rocks, really nice and solid in there. And the action for the dropping, you can see that. It just really drops beautifully. It's cage ceramic ball bearings in there, so washers. So that's really nice. The detent locks in there, so you can see when you come down to the detent, it clicks in there. There's no rock or anything going on in there. And the centering is really spot on. Yeah, it's really nice. I mean, for a budget knife, you can't ask for better stuff. I mean, it is. It's not milled in for the. It's not milled into the scales, but you know, in order to get your budget cost, you know, you're gonna have to sacrifice and do some things here and there. And I get why they didn't probably cut it in, because they had this spacer right in here. So they have these standoffs. Sorry, it's not a back spacer, but these two standoffs, and the standoff is right there. And they decided to use. Not to bring that clip too high. So I get maybe that was the engineering, the physics of it. But, you know, I mean, could they maybe have used one of those screws to go into that, you know, standoff? Probably. But I don't know. Maybe that would have added more cost. Maybe it would have been more of a manufacturing challenge and it added additional cost. And this was a relatively inexpensive because, you know, it's still pretty deep. You can see that. I mean, that's all that's going to be sticking out with that deep pocket carry clip. So, I mean, that's hardly anything for a knife like this. I think it's a great deal. I mean, it really is. It's a great deal. And you just have to get past the detent for it to drop. The detent is about right there. So that's what you get. Once you're there, it falls pretty good. So, and for me, that clears it right when the flipper part here, if you will, the part that goes, the tang of the blade right here, hits my thumb. You can see that right there. Once it clears that, then it just goes right past it. So for me, it works really well. You know, I mean, if you've got a gigantic thumb so big, you know, well, it may not work for you. You may have to do a two-handed. And if you have a thumb that big, that's, you know, you're probably not going to use this. Would be way too small of a knife anyways. So, but for most people, this is going to be no problem whatsoever. Very, very convenient. And the reverse flicking works really, really nice. I like the detent on this one, especially since it's a front flipper. You don't want it to be super strong. I know it has a flipper here, so some people are going to be like, it's kind of light. You may think it's that, but I mean, remember, this is a front flipper, and you don't want a front flipper to be incredibly difficult, or else you have to have some really massively aggressive jimping here that's going to rip up your skin. And this is not massively aggressive jimping. It is just enough for you to, you know, to get traction on there. And it's really nice. I like that. Likewise, the jimping on the flipper as well. It's all around, so you're not going to slip right off of that. You're going to keep your finger on there. That's really nice. Again, do a quick close-up of that material. You can see that traction is really nice. Look at the blade there and the standoff in the back. And let's look at the knife blade here. You can see that. It's just really nice. And here as well, definitely see that hollow grind. And I don't know if we can get that in there. Can we see that? Let's see if we can get it on the camera. If you can, I don't know if you can see it. I can see it here. Definitely see the thickness, and it comes down to a much thinner. And it's definitely got a hollow grind to it. So at least it seems to me. If it's not intentional, maybe it was an accidental hollow grind, but I can definitely see the curvature of the hollow there. So very nice. I like this blade. I'm definitely going to recommend it. It's a great bang for your buck. So if you're looking for a good cost-effective knife, this is it. I mean, this is a great knife to have in your car as a beater. If you're looking for just one solid knife, this is a great one to go with, and you don't want to spend too much. If you're looking for an inexpensive knife to use for things, this is great. If you want to buy a nice knife as a gift, this would work. It's not a super small knife. So let's go ahead and measure it just so we know what we're talking about here. All right, so the knife is right at 8 inches. Yeah, it's right at 8. I mean, it's like maybe 0.01 shy of an inch. And the blade itself is right at 3 1/4 inches. To the base of the handle is 3 1/2. So from the handle to the end is about 4 1/2 inches. To where you get your full good grip, you're about 3 7/8. So that's about the length of the handle, right? And let's go ahead and measure the weight on this. So it's 2.88 ounces. I mean, 2.88 ounces for a knife that's over 3 1/4 inches. Your ratios are fantastic. Micarta is definitely very light, so that's definitely a big plus. Definitely something really worthwhile there. So, anyways, let's go ahead and measure this right here. Measure the blade thickness. Make sure we're at 0. Yep, we're at 0. 0.125. So 125th hundredths of an inch. So just a little over 1/10 of an inch, closer 1/10 of an inch than it is to 2/10 of an inch. So 125 hundredths of an inch. Not bad at all. It's got enough thickness to be robust enough. It does come to a very thin tip. I wouldn't be prying with this, right? It's going to be kind of thinner at the edge there. But you definitely would not have a problem cutting through. It's got a little swedge in the back, so allow you some manipulation in your cuts, because that's the point of a swedge. If you're cutting through something difficult, it allows you to turn that in the back part, where it can actually allow you to turn into it. So you're not fighting the resistance there with a very flat back end. So very, very nice. Very, very nice. I like this blade. Everything about it seems just really, really solid. The action's nice. It's really just great. It's one of those knives I hadn't had to take apart to felt like I had to clean anything out. Everything worked straight out of the factory. I mean, really great knife. Really highly recommended. This is one of those knives I would definitely buy for friends as gifts. Definitely would give away, or definitely would put in my car as a knife for my car. If I didn't have one already, this would be one of those that would go out there, right? So I'm going to recommend this knife. It's a great value for a knife. So check it out. This is Vosteed, the Bellamy. They may still have some for sale. They had a higher end version, I think, that was an S35VN or something like that, I thought. And it was a nicer material. This is the Micarta one. This is, I think, the cheaper one. but maybe they have been re-releasing these, so they come out and they're actually carried by a lot of knife vendors or knife resellers. So you might want to check those out. But you can check Vosteed. I'll have a link there as well for that. Really, really good knife. I highly recommend this. Go ahead and check them out. Hey, if you have any questions about this review or you have any comments about this, I would love to hear from you down below in the comments. Please feel free to leave something down there and ask me questions, talk about your thoughts on the knife, and maybe, some of your other Vosteeds that you've had if you've already had one of those. I've had the Thunderbird, the Bellamy, and the Corgi. I've got another review on the Corgi coming. I've liked them all. I think they're really great. The Thunderbird, the Valkyrie, the Bellamy, and the Corgi. I've had 4. And I've liked them all. So really, really good stuff. But I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you like this review and this content's worthwhile or at least interesting, would you consider hitting the like button? I sure would appreciate that. And if you like this video, would you consider subscribing if you haven't already? And if you have subscribed, would you consider maybe hitting the notification button so you can be notified of upcoming content for other videos? And then if you've done all that, or if you just are interested, maybe check me out over on Instagram at robs_nerdy_knives. That's robs_nerdy_knives. Hey, thanks so much for watching today. Have a great day and a great week. Bye.